Alright, so coming out, and I'm gonna redo this. I have a video shot. It was all over the place about mounting the cold side. Like I said, it's all over the place, and then it became a little too long. Ate up a lot of memory on my phone, try to edit and everything, so I'll just cut it down a little bit. But first I want to start with saying, finally hit 1,000 subscribers. I want to thank everybody that's already subscribed. Like I said, it took a little bit longer than I thought it would, but finally got there. So going through all the monetization process now. Just want to say thank you to everybody that subscribed so far. Only way to go is up from here, so let's keep it going. But I'm gonna go over some of the stuff I found when just mocking up the cold side on the on3 kit. So I did get out earlier, brought the engine stand back out and pulled the engine forward a little bit, straightened it up, got everything aligned. I still held the header up to it. It was still hitting the steering shaft, so I will have to modify this header. Pretty much hits right here where I have it marked on with the Sharpie. Hits there, so I'll probably have to cut a section of it out. Probably take about 1 inch out of this right here. Just shorten that, then reroute it and tie it back in. But that's just from that. The header issue, so we'll be running manual brakes. I have all that stuff. I'll go over it here in a second. But with the cold side, there's not much on the on3 website about how it routes. All the pictures are real dark, so I figured I'll go over it real quick. First thing is, I just have it mocked up with some ratchet straps. I had it on some jacks with 2x4s and a 4x4 to just mock it up in place, which I think it might sit just slightly higher when I actually do mount it. I just wanted to get all the routing down. So I clocked the turbo correctly, so the feed is straight up, the drain is straight down, so that's all clocked. You start with this small tube right here. That drops down, and then it loops up under the car. And you have this S pipe. I'll just go between the under the core support, and then it routes to the outside of this bumper reinforcement bracket. So I'll go through there, through the intercooler, and you have this little L pipe right here. That'll come off, run through here into the larger pipe. The blow-off valve, there's plenty of clearance between that and the alternator, but this pipe is a little too short. Like I said, it could be the brackets I'm using or the motor mounts. I'm using UMI motor mounts. I did talk to the guy whose Monte Carlo was used for the mock-up vehicle for this kit. Of course, he has no problems with it. He's using the Holley motor mounts, and I think he has a Holley mid-rise or high-rise intake. So, like I said, there's going to be some differences. I'm going to have to modify the driver's side header, and I think I'm going to have to modify this pipe too. So all these couplings, the piping's all pushed together, so there's no gap in between them. Even if there was, it would still, like I said, it'd still be a little too short. So it's about 1 inch, 1.5 inches short from the throttle body, and then I'd say about the same, about 1 inch, 1.5 inches too short. So I'll probably have to have that lengthen one way and lengthen the other way. That's just one of the problems I've ran into so far, besides the header. It's just this pipe is a little off. Probably could move it over a tad bit. I know when I do it, I might cut this little tab off right here. And then this bracket back here that holds the reinforcement or the bumper reinforcement in. I might cut that off, round that down a little bit. And then the bolt for the idler arm, I might chop that down also. So those are just some clearance issues that I've ran into so far. Looking at it, I might be able to slide. I'll probably come up tomorrow and try sliding the intercooler over a little bit to see if that'll line it up. At least horizontally. I'll still need to extend it a little bit in between the throttle body and the piping. So it's going to need a little bit of modification, at least on that pipe. Everything else should be good. The air box, I did try to slide it in there. And with the Monte, I think the Monte's the only one that runs the air box. I'm probably going to have to cut probably a hole out that'll slide over the couplings when it's time to actually install everything. So once I figure out where the intercooler is actually going to sit, I'll make some brackets. I'll probably tie into here. I'll probably run them over here, but then I have that X bracing. I haven't put them on yet, but it's like a bracing for the core support. I'll add those also. So I have to make a bracket for here. So there's two on top and there's two on the bottom. I'll figure out where it's going to sit, then I'll make the brackets so I could actually mount it and get everything mounted into place, and then I'll go through and be able to actually use all the clamps and everything and get everything secured into place. This radiator, it's going back. I got it. I thought it was a good deal. It showed up pretty damaged, so it's warped up here, and I think it's bowed, and then the bottom is dented into, so this will go back, but it does look good in there. There's plenty of clearance for fans. Like I said, even if I use the Intrepid fans on them, they'll stick out a little bit farther, but they would still clear with all the piping. So this will go back. I still have to look for a radiator cover like on the Elko. So that's all stuff that's planned. But yeah, it was pretty good. It's coming together. I'll give it that. But that's just about it with the cold side. So it helps. Helps me see how it's routed. Like I said, online the pictures are real dark. You really can't tell how it's routed. And then there's not much on like YouTube or any videos of the actual install of the on3 kit. So just trying to help some guys out. I know they're debating and waiting to see what I do with the kit before they make a decision on theirs, if they want to order it or not. Like I said, I did pull the loader all the way forward, did some stuff underneath with the transmission, make sure it's all lined up. I should have, well, I still can. It's still up on all four wheels are on the ramp, so I can still go back in and measure for drive shaft length and everything when it comes down to it. But once all the turbo stuff is situated, I'll move on to the wiring. I think the wiring and just like small little trim pieces on the Monte, it's pretty much all I have left once the turbo and everything's done. Well, the wiring and the fuel system. So with the intake in there, roughly where it's going to be, I can start mocking up the fuel system. Like I said, I have my manual brake kit right there. Finally got my dash 8 line in, so I'll run that for my feed line with all types of connectors, fuel pressure regulator, transmission cooler. So I think wiring and the fuel system, that's pretty much all that's left. yeah, I went over my fuel pump and everything. Got all that stuff in, so just small stuff like that. But yeah, I just wanted to cut this video down a little bit. I had clips all over the place. Like I said, it turned into about a 30-minute video. Judging by the time on the camera now, it's more like probably like a 12, 13-minute video. But yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, like I always say, if there's something I haven't done yet that you guys want to see, just let me know in the comments or hit me up on Instagram, Dash Garage. And if I know the answer, I'll get back to you. If it's something I haven't got to yet, that I will be covering and you want me to pay you a little bit more attention to, just let me know. And I could do that, because I'm pretty sure if you have questions on it, when I get to it, I'll probably have the same questions or similar questions. So I'll try to cover that with any problems that I've run into or might run into. But other than that, it's just going over the cold side. So you guys can see how it's routed. I thought of it, at first you had to cut the wheel wells, which you don't. It just routes down there. I'll clean up these connectors too when it's time to actually install it. That'll probably be turned the other way. But yeah, it's not much to it. Originally, I thought the intercooler had to be flipped the other way, but no, this is how it goes. Like I said, I'll modify that top or the intake pipe eventually. As far as the headlights go, now these have to be cleaned up. I'll clean them up and paint them eventually. But there's going to be plenty of clearance on the Monte. Nothing's going to be hitting back there, so those should be good. So once I figure out where the intercooler goes, I'll chop up probably 2 big holes on the air box, just so I could probably just slide around there. Other than that, like I said, the radiator will go back, but I just threw it up there for mock-up purposes because it's looking pretty good. But yeah, the car is getting close. So after the turbo stuff is done, I'll move on to fuel system and wiring. The body wiring, I've been following Warren G-Body. He's been wiring up one of his El Caminos, so I've been following his videos pretty closely. I'm not looking forward to it, but I know it's something that I'm going to have to do. I've had a couple people reach out and ask me about the wiring. I haven't got to that step yet. I'm still debating if I'm going with painless or American Auto wire. I think I haven't narrowed down to the 2 kits I want, but just trying to tackle the turbo stuff, get that knocked out of the way first, and I'll move on to it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So once the turbo stuff done, fuel system and wiring, and then it'll be that close to running. But like I said, finally hit 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate everybody that started subscribed. Let's keep the channel growing, and I have a lot more planned for this year. I have a couple buddies I've talked to about reviewing their cars or their projects, so that'll be coming to the channel. Like I said, we'll be doing more Colorado G-Body meets. There'll be some, I'll probably hit up a couple test and tune nights up at Bandimere with some of the guys from Colorado G-Bodies, and just a lot more car content coming. I say I got the camera bike, so that's good for roller shots, but that's about it. I'll cut it off about a 15-minute video, and cut you guys back on when I figure out these problems with the turbo.